7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's now time for the Pony Cake Sports Podcast with your hosts, Josh Stevens, Tim Thompson, and Tom Schultz. Woo!
Goddamn it, if I fucking make this kid pass out and he starts having a seizure, I'm going to jail. That's all I can think.
Well, I tried to help him during the middle of it. I was trying to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
But
Didn't pick up Robbie Anderson.
Nope.
Cole Beasley.
I already picked up Robbie.
He's right here.
Oh, is he? Never mind. Different league. My fault. So let's talk about the league. We're recorded.
Oh, okay.
I got a
Wow,
good
what the
chunk
fuck?
of that in there.
All
So,
right.
let's talk about the draft.
All right.
Let's talk about some. Sorry to surprise you guys like that.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted the full story on the show.
No, we don't need the full story. We don't need to relive. We don't need to relive that. I'm sure Jerry's already not happy with it. And,
Jerry probably doesn't remember getting choked out.
well, he to his credit, he did not get choked out fully, even though you said you lifted his arm WWE style and it went down.
It's true.
I thought his arm went down and pushed off of Tim's body. I could be wrong. I don't know.
No,
I was in the window yelling out and stuff. So.
I'm never saying he was out. Never. I'm never saying that he was fall. But like Jerry said, he didn't slam me as hard as he could, which I don't think he did. He did still slam me pretty hard though. I must say I felt that the next day. But I was definitely not doing my damnedest there to put him completely unconscious towards the end.
Takeaways from the draft. Initial takeaways. Thoughts, comments, concerns.
It was a good time. The whole one thing kind of fucked it all up in my eyes was Luke leaving. It kind of put a damper on everything. And I think if we would have finished in one fell swoop and then been able to hang out after, it would have been a better time.
Well, I want to know here. When did this? I know Spencer proposed the name change. You know, early when we were doing proposals and stuff, name change because we're not politically correct anymore. The world's not politically correct. I did not know that we voted and agreed upon Luke's Fantasy Football League as the new fucking league name, because that's apparently the way it all went. Definitely turned a fun time into like a 9.5 hour draft. I fell asleep in the bathroom on a break. Mike just vanished up and left. Not good. Not good. It would have been much better to just finish it out. I know. I'm just saying that moving forward, we just can't have that anymore.
That can't happen again.
Yeah, I feel like if one of those situations do arise, it's got to be one or two things. He can tell somebody who he wants to draft in certain situations. That's fine. If he wants to tell Joey, whatever, not a big deal. If he wants to have somebody there draft for him, that's fine as well. Don't care. And what you need to do is make a best available or best that you want in your queue, and then whatever happens is whatever happens, and that's your team.
Well, beyond that, the guy took Eric Decker and Ted Ginn while he was here, so auto draft was probably better than whatever the hell he was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So
Luke was, and he's going to deny it now, and he kept saying that he was just more shocked. But Luke was not happy with all the hate of his drafting abilities draft day.
As we continue, draft board's right here.
Okay,
we can set
here,
that
I'll
up.
set it up.
That way we can see what we have.
I feel like after the CJ Anderson pick, he
Grab
was.
that other chair over there, Tim.
I got it.
There we go. Oh, maybe we'll need to.
Yeah.
That way we can see what what we did here. Believe me, setting the rest of this shit up that next day was not that bad. But the only way I could do it is I had to reset everything, and I got text messages from Tom that the world was on fire. I got text messages from Joey removed me as a league manager. I'm like, dude, just let me do my thing. I'll have the team set up in just a minute. It took me an hour and a half to do it.
Well, the best was I woke up the next morning at like 5:30, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of in a haze a little bit, you know. I'm like, all right, let's see how I did. I'm like, well, this isn't good. It took me a minute. I'm like, oh, okay. Hopefully, Josh, I went through your text, and you're like, shut the fuck up, everyone.
Yeah, it basically what it was, a lot of the trades that were happening, I couldn't figure them out, and that's what happens when I start drinking. So I just reset everything, and I said, you know what? It is what it is. At least we have it on paper. And then I re-uploaded it. And the other thing that was screwed up is Justin was one pick heavy, and I was one pick short.
Collusion.
And then he picked in your spot, but I think that was supposed to go to me. I'm not sure what it was. Essentially, I told Justin that he had to drop his last guy. I think it was DeAndre Washington, and I just picked somebody off of waivers, which I already dropped already, so it didn't really matter.
Well, what about me, who missed out my pick? He picked in my spot. How dare you?
Your roster was full.
Well,
yep. All right, so let's go through the draft. We have it right here in front of us. Were you guys shocked at all with pick 1 and 2? Was it funny or no?
I loved it.
It was fucking gay.
I loved it. Honestly. You know what? Because I'll admit, when I was a fangirl, right? When Justin came out and said there's been a trade, I was like, yes! I was so excited. I thought the world was gonna be on fire. And then he was like, and it's traded to Josh. And I was like a WWE little kid, like, no! No, what do you mean the Undertaker's in the casket? No! It was awful.
It was funny. We had that deal struck up when we first made our Mike Evans deal. There were 2 parts of it. I was going to take Leonard Fournette. He was going to take Joe Mixon. We were going to flip-flop at the draft because it was funny. And then I could not trade Mike Evans to Joey for the rest of my time of having Mike Evans. And Justin could not trade that number 2 overall to Joey at all. So
I'm not going to lie. I think every time you and Justin make these provisions about Joey, his dick grows an inch. Like, it just makes him that much bigger of a player.
So let's go through the draft. We have picks 1 and 2, Joe Mixon and Leonard Fournette. Mike shocks everybody and goes Dalvin Cook.
Moron.
I actually said
I like it.
I actually said that he was going to go with Dalvin Cook originally, and so
I just love the fact that Mike still to this day plays like he knows best. That instead of just taking the guy, the obvious guy. I put it out there in the text. Mike claims to be the game, which makes sense because he keeps getting played by himself and by other people.
I would have taken Cook over McCaffrey too.
Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. They have another running back who's definitely going to get his $15 million over the next 3 years.
How much is guaranteed? He could be cut next year for under $1 million.
He's not. No, he's got a cap hit of over $5 million for the next. Yeah, he's got a dead cap hit of less, but he's got a cap hit of over $5 million. But to my point, Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers are building their offense around him. Jonathan Stewart is not that big of a factor. He's going to vulture some touchdowns for sure, but especially with us going to half-point PPR over the next 3 years, Christian McCaffrey was the guy, and Mike took Elmo's banana dick, did not even dump it in the coconut oil first, and shoved it up his own ass.
Next pick, Joey went with I went with Christian McCaffrey. Joey went with Kareem Hunt. Not Marshawn Lynch. And then, of course, Kevin, of all people, goes, I didn't think Marshawn Lynch was going to be available. So the idiot that keeps 3 running backs drafts another fucking running back, and we said this was going to happen. So Kevin drafts another running back, and I think the next pick, which was kind of shocking, who was that? Tommy Rafferty, right?
Yep.
He went with Tevin Coleman there. Bless you.
Thank you.
So I think those picks were kind of questionable, I guess, at best. Not the players, but to the teams that they went with. I mean, Kevin, if you're at that spot, either trade back to somebody that needed a running back and get a wide receiver and get more trade capital. But I don't know. And now he's got 4 running backs, and 2 of the guys that he kept aren't even on his starting roster.
It pretty much, this is what happens when you come to the draft unprepared. Him thinking that Marshawn Lynch wouldn't be there. It's just, I have no idea how he thought that. He should have kept Stephon Diggs instead of Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson would have been there late in the draft, probably 9th, 10th round. I think he still would have been on the board. And Stephon Diggs didn't make it back to him and was one of the better receivers that thrown back into the draft pool, in my eyes.
So the big issue to me was I truly have no idea how Spencer did not talk to Kevin about this. This is a big downer on Kevin. It makes too much sense for everyone involved. Spencer, with a Marshawn Lynch on his team, has a shot to dramatically improve, right? He moves up there. He gives Kevin a couple picks. Didn't he have back-to-back picks here on the flip side? He had
2 and 3.
He had 2 in a row. He had 7-2 and 7-3, I believe, back-to-back. And He traded that. Well, he traded the one to Tom.
Yeah.
And Tom ended up taking Rob Kelly. But if you give Kevin 7-2 and then another pick later, you probably don't even have to give up both. Or even if you want to, 7-2 and 7-3 for 6-5 and have Kevin give you another 8th. Then you're going to jump up. You're going to get a Marshawn Lynch. Kevin's able to go and just kind of build his team in the depth there. He can explain that to dumb Kevin. Use crayons, color him a fucking picture. It doesn't matter. And Spencer's team is fucking built and ready to go. He's a contender then. He's a contender with that. Then you're talking having Jordan Howard and Marshawn Lynch going into the season with those 4 wide receivers. You're thrilled. You're absolutely thrilled. Instead, you got Frank Gore, who's 85.
Yeah, at that point in time, I think Spencer should have definitely reached out to Kevin and see what he was going to do, but obviously it didn't happen.
See what happens when you have 2 dumb people.
It is what it is, man. Move on. Tommy right there. He took Tevin Coleman. And then, shocker, Luke ends up taking C.J. Anderson there.
Love the pick. Well, probably one of the only picks I liked from Luke the whole day. But love it mostly to see the deflated look in the corner on Spencer's face.
He was shocked.
And multiple people were like so shocked. I mean, he was going to go sometime soon after that. Like, what do you care? You're not going to get him. Spencer, literally, I think he threw his the paper with the 3 names he had written on it. He had 3 names for his whole draft. Current just crumbled up and threw away. He's like, all right, fuck it. Let's see what happens. Here, Tom, take control.
Yeah, it was funny because sitting there at the 12th spot, I had Tevin Coleman penciled, ready to go, and I had C.J. Anderson if Tevin Coleman was gone. And they were both gone, so I was kind of shocked, a little confused. Didn't think that was going to happen that early. I thought Tevin for sure. C.J. Anderson definitely not. So was a little shocking. And I think Mike thought he pulled a fast one on me and took Jimmy Graham right in front of me. Needless to say, Mike, I'm sorry. My goal was never to take a tight end that early. So I know I had a lot of people thinking that, but it was always to get that running back or wide receiver early and then kind of getting that Jacquizz Rodgers later on, which I ended up having to move up, but I ended up getting it done.
I was a little bit shocked that, I love that pick by Mike, by that Jimmy Graham pick I love. And Josh, your Larry Fitz pick, I love that as well. Not that obviously we knew it was going to be heavy, but 9 out of the first 10 picks were running backs.
Yeah.
So even with the half-point PPR, it shows that running back's still king.
Let's move on to a couple other guys. Tommy actually ended up getting Tevin Coleman and Mike Gillislee. Justin ended up getting Dante Moncrief. Dante Moncrief was a guy that you never brought the garbage can down here?
No, I won't be doing it.
Dante Moncrief was the guy that Justin was targeting all along, and I feel like if Moncrief was gone, it was probably going to be Corey Coleman. So I think Justin getting his guy, he was pretty happy with that. Tommy getting Mike Gillislee and then also getting Tevin Coleman, that's an extra bonus right there.
Yeah, I was shocked he picked Gillislee. I know he wasn't a big-time fan of him. He probably would have went C.J. Anderson there if Luke didn't take him. But I don't mind getting the combo of Tevin Coleman and Gillislee there, pair him up with the Todd Gurley, kind of play the matchups. But that New England backfield, it's going to be tough to predict, and I'm not expecting much out of Gillislee this week, so he's probably going to have to play Coleman against the Bears.
Where did Tommy take McFadden? What round did he take?
It was late.
Was it late? I don't think it was that late. I could be wrong.
I think it was after the 10th, I think.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I'll find him.
Yeah, take a look on the board. What I was kind of shocked with was Mark Ingram getting taken so late at pick, 78 there? That's late as hell.
I didn't want Ingram on my team, but I thought the value was good there, and getting him as my running back 4 at the time, I really couldn't complain.
Let's talk for a second here, and I still can't find fucking McFadden, so I don't really care anymore. It's a game we played during draft day. We got to hear everyone's input, kind of, but no one was willing to take shots. Apparently, round 6,
129.
Okay, 129, sure. Your least favorite pick of the first round?
Mine was C.J. Anderson.
I like C.J. Anderson there. I know a lot of people won't, but he's the guy right now. I'm going to go with Mike Gillislee. Just not a believer in him.
I'm also going to go Mike Gillislee. I almost would have preferred him going Mark Ingram there.
Yeah, that would have made more sense. Yeah, there's so many running backs there, and now with Edelman out, I think they're going to use those running backs more than what we thought, and it's going to be more of a guessing game. I feel like Rex Burkhead could get a game that is going to be 10 touches. We can see Mike Gillislee get 3 touches. We could see James White get 6, and we can see Deion Lewis. Who knows with that backfield? It's so crazy. I don't even know where to begin with that.
I agree. Going on to the start of the 7th, you already mentioned Coleman. Tom, you were real hopped up about Rob Kelly.
I love Rob Kelly. Kind of haven't been talking about him too much.
Intentionally, yeah.
Yeah, and I like how he's looked this offseason. I wanted a part of this Redskins offense. I'm kind of a big believer in that, getting part of those explosive offenses. And I think the Redskins are going to be in the red zone a lot. And Samaje Perine has shown he is not even close to being ready right now. He's struggling pass blocking, struggling running, struggling with his ball security, and Rob Kelly is showing in the preseason that he can do that. So getting him as my running back 3, I think he'll be able to keep me above water until Zeke comes back.
And then Spencer went Frank Gore. I know I was highly critical of this pick. Tom, you're a big Colts fan, and obviously you're the GM of this team. So what are your thoughts on that pick?
I'm the GM of Spencer's team now, too?
Yeah, we saw all the communication. Why do you think you got pick 7 too? That was payment. That was the down payment, baby.
Because I offered him the best trade. People are Jews on draft day and don't want to offer people shit.
Spencer's
like,
a Jew every
give
day.
me 7-2 and I'll give you a 9 for it. That's like what Josh Schultz was offering him. No, I
offered him a good trade for that pick.
Not as good as mine, though.
Yeah, no, not as good as yours, but I offered a decent trade.
But most people are afraid to give out heavy draft capital. I'm not. I don't mind the front. It was 8-1 and a 10 for that and like a 12.
All right.
I originally offered 2 8s, but he didn't have a 10. So it would have been better. But Gore, he's playing in a good offense. The Colts are going to be using him a lot, especially with Andrew Luck being out right now. Not really sure when he's coming back. He's probably going to be getting over 20 touches a game until Luck gets back, in all honesty. So I think he's going to be a good play the first couple weeks of the year. Good sneaky play. I still think he's got some tread left on those tires. But, yeah, he's getting old. No chance for him to be kept next year. So that's one thing I do not like about the pick.
And in saying that, Tom will also tell you Marlon Mack is available, Spencer, whenever you want to come.
No, he'll probably be a keeper next year, man, because he's going to be starting by the end of the year.
So let's go to the next few picks here in a row. Corey Davis, Stephon Diggs, Mark Ingram, Andrew Luck. Mr. Fourth is one with Corey Davis. I shouldn't say I was shocked. I know Mr. Fourth is deep, but still, I thought it was a bit of a reach.
5th wide receiver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, high upside guy for a 5th wide receiver.
It's a bit of a reach, but he just got one of the most consistent wide receivers in the game at the end of the 6th round with Larry Fitzgerald. He kept 3 wide receivers.
If I went running back at the end of the 6th round, Corey Davis would not have been my pick. It would have been another wide receiver other than Corey Davis.
But he's a good dynasty asset. We've seen the last few years. Number 1 receiver, rookie receiver, goes in the 6th round. And Mr. Fourth got him in the 7th. So you got good value there in my eyes. If Corey Davis went in the 6th round, I wouldn't have laughed at the person. That's a dynasty move. That's the kind of league we're in. And sometimes you got to make sacrifices.
Stephon Diggs going next at Josh Schultz. And then Mark Ingram and Andrew Luck, like we said. Thoughts on those picks? I'm not a fan of Stephon Diggs at all this year. I know we always say you have to throw it to somebody. And chances are it's going to be him because he's been involved with the offense. He's been there for a year now. He kind of understands it, or 2 years now. But I thought that Adam Thielen looked that much better. And if you're going to move Thielen to the slot, where Stephon Diggs has primarily played, and now you're going to move him to the outside, I think that kind of hinders his possible production.
The whole Vikings offense is going to have hindered production, in my opinion. I don't like the Vikings at all this year. Obviously, I'm not going to lie. Diggs was one of the guys on my radar just because he had to be with the position where I was in drafting. With that being said, I mean, it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be tough for the Vikings with the quarterback play. Obviously, the highest completion percentage or whatever dumbass stat you want to throw out there, that's fine. At the end of the day, you still have Sam Bradford, and you still have a couple of wide receivers that Diggs has big play potential, and that's the reason why I liked him over Thielen, personally. I think Thielen is a little bit overvalued, in all honesty.
Diggs is only 23 years old.
Yep.
It's his third year in the NFL.
Yep.
Last year he was banged up, but remember at the beginning of the year last year after he beat up Tennessee pretty bad and then he absolutely destroyed the Packers. Everyone was all over this
I believe
kid.
he was on your team, Josh, when he was doing all that.
No.
Or was that 2 years ago when he
It was either Kevin or Joey last year.
Yeah, okay.
Joey's team last year,
But
2 years ago.
He was an absolute stud. Yeah, this offense, it kind of sucks in all honesty, but I like the upside with him. He's got one of the highest catch percentages in the NFL. Great route runner. I think the arrow's pointing up for Stephon Diggs right now. In my eyes, close to a poor man's Amari Cooper.
Tom went ahead and went with another Mark Ingram. Joey went with the hurt quarterback, Andrew Luck.
I was kind of surprised. I get why Joey did that. I probably would have went with him at 8-4 if he was still on the board, but I wasn't going to reach on him right there, knowing that he was going to be missing some time. I just think it was too much of a reach, but when he comes back, Joey's team's going to be scary.
Yeah, I love the pick for Tom. Makes him deeper. And exactly like you said, that's just Joey thinking for the future.
Yep.
Is all it is. He's setting himself up to have a deep playoff run.
Next up, Kevin Long took Jamison Crowder. Tommy ended up going with Delaney Walker. Pierre Garçon to, who's that to?
That's me.
To Tim. Eric Decker to Luke. And then Zay Jones to Mike.
So I was pretty happy with how this all played out. Obviously, 7-10 being my first pick, everyone giving me all the shit in the world. I had a list of guys who, all the way down to, potentially Chris Hogan being the guy. Obviously, Willie Snead's potential suspension, put him back in my mind because I needed a third wide receiver right away. And to be honest with you, the top of my list, my top two guys were Jamison Crowder and Pierre Garçon. Those were 1A and 1B.
So you were probably feeling pretty good right there.
I was feeling fantastic. When Kevin took Crowder, I was a little bit nervous with Tommy up there. I didn't know where he was. Obviously, he had Crabtree, Adams, and Sanders already, so felt pretty good that he wasn't going to. So very happy with how that all played out for me. Bigger reach in your mind, and I don't know the answer, but Eric Decker going to Luke and Zay Jones to Mike. I don't think either of you were fond of either of those picks.
I'm cool with Zay Jones there for Mike. It's a good dynasty asset in my eyes. I think he's going to get a lot of usage. I don't know how good the usage is going to be.
Tyrod out of concussion protocol
Yeah.
already. He's going to play week 1.
But for me, I like Zay. If someone took him early in the 7th, I would have been okay with it. I think he outproduces Eric Decker this year.
Not going to lie. Even when I went up there to grab Pierre Garçon's sticker, I thought, how pissed would everyone be if I just put fucking Zay Jones on the board right now? Everyone would have lost their mind. Would have been awesome.
You made the right pick, though, Tim, by going Pierre there. Not a great dynasty play, but that's that play where you're like, I'm competing for a motherfucking starfish this year. I'm getting the best available guy on my board at a position of need, a guy who will be starting for me week in and week out.
Before we move on to 7th round, worst pick, consensus, Eric Decker.
Eric Decker.
Sorry, Luke. Eat a wiener. That you and Mike are talking about nonstop. I want to talk about this first pick in the 8th. 8-1. Now, this is someone who I talked up big time, all draft long, that he was finally acting smart. Josh Schultz had a hell of a draft, I think. I think he did a very, very good job and shocked everyone. But this is my least favorite pick by far. I hate this pick in Terrence West.
Which running back would you have taken in front of him, though?
Danny Woodhead.
Okay.
That would have been an obvious choice there. I know they're on the same team.
Yeah.
But especially, and again, Danny Woodhead is a potential, probably not, but has a higher upside with it being a dynasty league going into next year. If you had to, if for whatever reason. Listen, Terrence West has shown you nothing anytime on the Ravens whatsoever, and in this preseason has looked like dog shit.
Yep. He's
let Buck Allen, who is dog shit, look like a fucking contender for the starting running back position. I think it was more of a panic and, he's listed as number 1 on the depth chart, so it must be true, so that's the guy I'm drafting. I think it's a little bit of a panic pick.
I thought it was a good pick. I like Terrence West. I'm not going to hate on it.
I just don't think he's good, in all honesty.
I agree.
Like Tim said, you watch him in the preseason, you watch him last year, he's really not that good. But sometimes fantasy football is about opportunity. Look, Jeremy Hill has been
Who knows? Maybe Alex Collins will be the guy.
Yeah, you never know. Who signed? Did they get Langford? Baltimore?
They did.
Fuck, Langford might be the guy. You never really freaking know there, but I get what he was doing there. He was trying to get one of the few remaining starting running backs that was on the board. I don't mind the pick at all.
With him drafting a backup, I mean, even an AP at that spot. You know, who knows? Say he goes in there, he becomes a world beater again, and he jumps over Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
You know, you then got trade bait there. It's a big name. It's a big, I don't know. I just, only pick I think in his draft I didn't like.
Let's talk about the other two guys that were just drafted by Mike. Cooper Kupp, Willie Snead. After he took Zay Jones.
I don't mind it. Again, Cooper Kupp, another dynasty play. A little early for him. I don't think he's going. I think he's going in like the 14th or 15th round in most startup drafts. And Willie Snead, he would have probably went in the 7th round, maybe the end of the 6th if he wasn't suspended those 3 games. So getting him at the beginning of the 8th when he doesn't necessarily need him right away, it's a good move for him and makes his wide receiver core pretty deep.
It makes his wide receiver core deep, but there's still just looking at your team long term, and you know, okay, so up front, Zay Jones, Cooper Kupp, you know, obviously rookies, you're hoping they're going to succeed, hoping they can be long term. But at the same point, you already have 2 wide receivers who you think are going to be long term. You have a quarterback you have to keep. Outside of Delvin Cook, he did not address the running back situation whatsoever, and he's going to find himself in a very similar situation next year.
Yep.
Idiot.
With that being, I mean, I think Mike did a decent job. I don't want to not. I know I keep saying, you know, he panicked or whatever, and I totally think he panicked.
He overthought it.
He did overthink it a little bit.
He tried to outsmart himself, and I think that's exactly what happened.
His running back position's pretty ugly and pretty scary.
If the days of me having Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr., and DeAndre Hopkins hadn't shown him that pure wide receivers only can't win you a championship or put you in there, you have to have a good balance, then nothing will. He doesn't have a good balance right now. I don't care what you say about Ty Montgomery or Eddie Lacy, Mike. You don't have a good balance. And Delvin Cook, does he start him week 1?
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise,
Over
it'd
who?
be Eddie Lacy.
Yeah. So
Because he's gonna have to sit Eddie Lacy, even though he might have a bigger issue on his hand because Thomas Rawls was named the number 1 on the depth chart, but we all know how depth charts are. And
Pete Carroll said today, though, he might not even play week 1.
Exactly. So
that's going to be a disaster.
That's why I'm saying maybe Eddie Lacy is the guy, and we don't freaking know yet, you know?
we'll have to wait and see. Let's go to the next picks here. Jamal Williams by Tommy.
It was by me.
Oh, you made that pick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says Tom.
I was
Can you read, Tim?
Oh, I just saw T-Raf up there. That's why I was looking. Sorry, I didn't look at the thing down there.
Definitely a reach, but my original target, Andrew Luck, was off the board, and I'm getting Jamal Williams as my 5th running back. Everyone knew I was high on him, and I think he's going to be taking carries away from Ty Montgomery week 1, and I think he's only going to get more of a bigger piece of the pie as the weeks go on. Hopefully I could trade rape Mike later on in the season and get another 6th-round pick for next year in this fucking stacked rookie draft next year.
Chris Hogan, Danny Woodhead, Zach Ertz, Jacquizz Rodgers. And well, even Matt Ryan. Throw him in there too.
Like the Woodhead pick for Joey. Kind of surprising. Normally he doesn't. Normally he's kind of racist against white running backs. I don't think he's ever owned a white running back before. So I'm glad he's getting over that. Kevin, the Chris Hogan. I get it. It's just a little early. I think that's going to be one of his starters on a week-to-week basis, which isn't the greatest in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I like the Zach Ertz pick by Josh. I won't lie, I was a little surprised because I did have tight end in mind the whole way for my next pick. I thought Ertz was who I was going to end up with, to be perfectly honest with you, and I was content with it. And so to see you swap, you know, essentially swap tight ends with who I was thinking, you know, again, I think it was kind of an even deal. You don't kind of really know what you're getting on either end. Obviously,
yeah, I don't mind Hunter Henry at all, but
I didn't get Hunter. I got Tyler Eifert.
Oh, you got Eifert. Yeah. Well, actually, those were the 2 that I was trying to decide between.
Sure, and it's
and
tough.
I even told Danny, I'm like, do I take the high upside guy or do I take the guy that I think is gonna perform this year? And I ended up going with Ertz. I wanted to go with Eifert. I've been targeting Eifert in the offseason. I even once thought about trading for him and keeping him just to go for the upside, but I ended up with Ertz. I feel good with it. I'm happy with it.
I'll talk more about Eifert when it comes to my pick. Jacuzzi Rogers or Joey, we just talked about that.
To me.
Oh, that says Josh?
Yep.
Jesus Christ, Gary.
Josh, if you did not take him there, I was taking him at 8-12. Just for the first 3 weeks of the year, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a perfect spot for you.
Yeah, but I would have been super pissed, especially with the whole weather shit this week, and if Tampa Bay and Miami don't play.
Matt Ryan to Justin. That's a genius play by him. I like the pick. I know you guys aren't high on Matt Ryan or the Falcons, but having Freeman, you get one of the best quarterbacks. I like it.
Yeah, let's finish this round up, and then I'm going to do a part 2.
Okay. Mariota, AP, Russell Wilson.
Who got Mariota?
That would be... There's a sticker over it, so I don't know.
I think Spencer. Spencer took Mariota.
Yeah, I think that's kind of
it is Spencer. You're right.
That was a reach in my eyes. He's a borderline top 10 guy for me. I just not sure just how much he's going to be throwing the football. He's been uber consistent, uber reliable as a starting quarterback, but he's been injured. But they're going to be trying to run the football a lot there in Tennessee. And if they're as good as everyone says they're going to be running the football a lot, which should limit his passing numbers quite a bit.
And then Spencer takes AP right after that. AP and Frank Gore on the same team. Damn, his 2008 Spencer is in fantasy gold right now.
Yeah, I'm not an AP fan. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. It's hard to really love anyone in the New Orleans system.
I'd rather have Alvin Kamara over AP. But that's just my thoughts.
And then Russell Wilson.
Good value pick.
Yep. Not a huge Russell Wilson guy, but getting him at 8-12, I think it's awesome value. It's a guy who can put up top 5 numbers. He's looked great in the offseason.
Guy that's been kept before.
Yeah, he's been kept before. And
I think by me.
Alex
kept him.
Alex kept him? Maybe I didn't.
That was like Alex's go-to quarterback, him and Dak. But it'll be interesting for the first time in 4 years. Andrew Luck's not on my team.
We'll be back with part 2 in a second.